3 algebra. We are moving on to the second of 3 POs to kick off Unit 2. And it's something you've done before. Last year, addition and subtraction was kind of broken up into 3 separate objectives. You focus on integers, then decimals, then fractions. This year, it's all one giant PO. It was on your entrance exam as well. So you've had experience with this, but it is worth reviewing again and again, because if you struggle with addition and subtraction of integers, decimals, fractions, then everything else that we'll do in here is going to be an added challenge, because we're going to be using these skills, thus the PO. So let's kind of review. Let me know what you remember. With integers, when you add a positive, this is a chart that can go on a help sheet for Unit 2. This will be another non-calculator section on your test. This time I'll remember to actually make the non-calculator section. But adding a positive, an example of this would be something like 13 plus 7. Okay? We're adding positive 7. What's the operation there? Addition, right? This is what you first learned. First grade, kindergarten, whatever it was, when you first started to add, you just dealt with positive numbers. And the direction on the number line that you are moving when you are adding a positive is you are going to the right. Right? You're going to the right. And the reason why we have to emphasize adding a positive is because it's also possible to add a negative. Okay? An example of adding a negative would be something like this. 13 plus negative 7. That negative sign belongs to the 7, and we're adding it to 13. So what's the difference between these two things here? Either what's the answer to each of them, how do you solve them, what's different about them? How does that negative sign come into play? Zeke?
So for the first one, you're just adding a positive plus a positive, and then the next one, you're adding a positive plus a negative.
And how's that going to affect the answers to each of them? What is 13 plus 7?
Wait, in like for the first one?
Yeah, what is 13 plus 7?
20.
20, okay? Is 13 plus negative 7 also 20?
No, it's negative.
Not negative 20.
Positive.
In?
Negative.
It's still positive. It's negative because a negative plus a positive is always a negative.
Well, we don't have
Negative
negative
6.
plus a positive here.
Negative
It's not negative 6.
It's 6.
It's positive 6. Okay?
I thought.
So when you add a negative, when you've got something like plus negative 7, 8, you want to listen to this here, right? This is the exact same thing as just taking 13 minus 7. Adding a negative is really just subtraction, which means on the number line, you're going to the left. You're starting at 13, and you're going to the left 7, and you end up positive 6. I think what you might be thinking of, Aiden, when you say a positive and a negative is a negative, is with multiplication and division. That's not necessarily true with addition and subtraction. Okay? With addition and subtraction, how it works, the first number is where you start on the number line, and then you have the operation that tells you which direction you go. Right? So in the top example, we're starting at 13. Get her binder, Harrison?
Yeah.
Can you pull it up, please? We're starting at 13, and we're adding, so we're going to the right 7. We end at 20. The second one, we're also starting at 13, but because we're adding a negative, that means we're subtracting, we're going left 7, and we end up positive 6. Right? What if we subtract a positive, such as 13 minus 7? We're subtracting positive 7. What does that equal? And if you're thinking to yourself, wait, that's exactly like what we just did above, you're absolutely right. Because adding a negative and just standard subtraction are the same thing. Okay? You've heard of synonyms in ELA, words that mean the same thing. We kind of have that in math here also, where this combination is the same as that. Okay? So, when you subtract the positive, it's still subtraction, which means on the number line, we're still going left. We're starting at 13, we're subtracting 7. You may. The last option here is to subtract a negative. Okay? And subtracting a negative looks like this. 13 minus negative 7. 13 minus negative 7. You have that double negative there. And think about, again, I'll relate to ELA. What happens when you've got a sentence with a double negative in it? Like, well, I'm not going to the store, or I'm not happy. Jillian?
It
ends up being a positive.
So it's 6.
Okay? So this is actually the same as 13 plus 7. And so the answer is 20. Again, we see this synonym here, right? Subtracting a negative is the same as addition. When you subtract a negative, the operation is really addition, which means you're going to the right. Okay? So, starting with the practice work down here a little bit. Okay? Negative 7 plus 9. Remember, on our number line, this first number tells us where we start. This has nothing to do with the operation. This just tells you, where are you? You're at negative 7. Zero's over here, right? The operation, what comes between the numbers, is addition, which means which direction are you moving? To the right. How many times? 9. You're starting at negative 7. You're going to the right 9 times. What number will you stop at?
2.
Logan? Positive 2. Okay? It takes 7 to get to 0. Then you got 2 more to go. That's positive 2. Or you can just count negative 6, negative 5, negative 4, negative 3, negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, 2. That's 9 movements. 2 is where you will stop. Okay? If you get negative 16 from this, you actually subtracted 9. You went to the left 9. Right? But this operation, addition, means you're going to the right. Yes?
Do we have to memorize them, or can we just...
If this is something that you are kind of struggling with, and based on kind of answers that were being given, it sounds like a number of you are, I recommend it, but you don't have to. Okay?
What do you not recommend?
I recommend drawing this out a little bit, okay, at least so you understand kind of what the process is here. So the next one, 13 minus negative 4, we're starting at 13. Okay, so I'm just going to put 13 down. And then looking at what comes between the numbers, I've got subtracting a negative. What operation is that? Or which direction on the number line is that? Subtracting a negative looks like this, means we're going to the right. So we're starting at 13, we're going to the right. How far? 4. 14, 15, 16, 17 is our answer.
Why is 4 in parentheses then?
Because on Word, if you put 2 subtraction signs, it can kind of look a little bit muddled. Harrison, would you like to go on the hall?
Sorry.
That was a yes or a no?
No.
Okay. Because when you put them next to each other in Word, then it looks kind of too close together. So that's just a way to kind of separate them a little bit. You'll see I didn't do it here. Another option is to raise one a little bit, okay? But parentheses here are just to kind of separate the operations. Right? -5 minus 3. Think about where you're starting, right? This first number has nothing to do with the operation, nothing at all. It simply tells you where you start. Your operation comes in between the numbers. Okay? So everyone do it. Get an answer in your head. -5 minus 3. Where do you start? Which direction are you going? How far? And then who is bold, brave, and wants to share? Ethan? What? Positive 8?
Yeah.
Positive 8 is not correct. Olivia? -8 is correct. The reason why is because if we're starting at -5, right? Zero's over here somewhere, okay? That's where we start. Our operation is subtraction. So we're going to the left on the number line. -6, -7, -8 is where we stop. And so that is the answer, okay? Were you thinking positive 8 because the negative and the negative make a positive? So a negative and a negative make a positive with multiplication and division, not necessarily with addition and subtraction. Okay? They don't interact quite in that way. It's just how far you move in which direction. Yes, James.
Can you do -4 minus -5?
Sure. -4 minus -5. This first number is where you start. So on the number line, I'm just going to plop -4 in there. 0 would be over here, just as kind of a reference point there. What's between the numbers? Between the numbers, I have minus negative. What operation is subtracting a negative? Or which direction on the number line is subtracting a negative? Nora, addition. How you know that? Subtract a negative. You have an example here. It looks like that. It's addition. It's the right on the number line. So, starting at -4, because this is where I start, I'm going to the right 5, -3, -2, -1, 0. There's 4. One more hop. I'm at +1. And that is my answer. Okay. Questions on this?
Are we doing both pages?
We'll see. James.
Also, -25 plus -8.
-25 plus -8. The first number tells us what? Where you start. On the number line, we're starting at -25. I'm not going to put 0 in here because 0 is way over there, but that's where we start. In between the numbers, I see addition and subtraction. Adding a negative. What operation is that? What direction on the number line? Subtraction. Adding a negative, it looks like that. Adding a negative, we see it's subtraction. We see it's to the left on the number line. And how far to the left do I go? 8. So from -25, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, where do I end at?
18. No, 17. -17.
Well, -17 is going to be over here, right? Because 0 is somewhere over here. As I get closer to 0, that's going to the right. I'm going further away from 0. So -17 will actually be somewhere over here. I'm going the other way. Not 34, but the right direction. -33. Okay? -33. I'm starting 25 away from 0. I'm going 8 further. I end at -33. Right? Okay. I'm going to hold on. I'm going to capture ink.
Wow.
Isn't that nifty? I'm going to do something else. I'm going to save on the desktop. I've never done this before, but I'm trying something. We're going to do this. I think that's just saved on the desktop?
Yep.
That's cool. I like that. Nifty. Okay. The next section deals with decimals, and these, it's pretty much just kind of straightforward. How do you add and subtract decimals?
You line up the decimals.
You line them up, right? The place value matters here. So 7.1 and 12.6, I would not do this. 7.1, 12.6. What was my error here?
You did not line up the decimals.
Did not line up the place value, did not line up the decimals. Okay, that's what you've got to focus in on. 7.1 and 12.6. 7.1, 12.6.
I remember this.
Right? Now I've got my tenths with my tenths, my ones with my ones, and no tens, but my 10 there. And then it's just addition vertically, yeah?
Sure.
1 plus 6 is 7. Drop down my decimal. 7 plus 2 is 9. Drop down the 1. 19.7 is my answer. If you had to carry, you carry. With subtraction, if you have to borrow, you borrow. Right? All those things back from 2nd grade, 3rd grade, 1st grade. Okay? But the key with decimals is to line those points up. Line those points up. Okay? Questions on decimals? Bennett?
Wait, so we're just doing the top part of this page or the whole thing?
We're gonna do fractions too. This won't be due until Monday because tomorrow's a retake day. Okay? So you'll have tomorrow to work on it, the weekend to work on it, and it's review, right? You've done all this stuff before. It just needs, maybe that light bulb might be flickering. We gotta kind of turn on the switch here. Okay? The light bulb broke. Oh no.
Yeah,
Alright.
it burnt out.
Fractions. Fractions. This is usually the one that gives people the heebie-jeebies because fractions have all these rules. What are the rules for addition and subtraction of fractions? James, what do you got to remember?
Common denominator.
You've got to have common denominators. Okay? And why is that? Why is that?
So you can get your answer.
Well, but mathematically, why do you need to have common denominators when adding fractions? Aiden?
So, you don't, it's not improper?
Not necessarily that. Okay? You have to have the same denominator because something like 2/12 and 5/6, that 12th and 6th is like a thing. This would be the same as having 2 chairs and 5 tables. Can you add chairs and tables together and get chables or something? No, you can't put them together, right? If you were a zookeeper and you had 2 lions and 5 pandas, and you combine the lions with the pandas, what's going to happen to the pandas?
Pandas go bye-bye.
You're going to have 5 funerals, right? Okay? You can't combine things that aren't alike. Okay? So for those common denominators, you have to, some way, and this is why we covered equivalent fractions, right? I can get those common denominators by doubling both the 5 and the 6, and now I have 2/12 and 10/12. Right? 2/12 and 10/12. Now I have 2 lions, I'm adding 10 more lions. That can happen. And if I have 2 lions, I add 10 more. How many lions do I have? Oh, come on. That was a softball question. 12, right? But would my answer be 12/24?
No, 12.
Do 2 lions and 10 lions make 12 mega super double lions? No, they're still the same lion. They're still the same lions. There are just more of them, right? So it's not going to become 12/24. My denominator stays the same. That's the second rule. Your denominators must be the same, and they stay the same when you do the additions. Why are you putting your binder away? Okay? They must be the same and they stay the same. Now, of course, because it's a fraction, we do have to simplify. What does 12/12 simplify down to be? Anything divided by itself is 1 whole. You get 12 on a 12 on a test, you get 100%. You got the whole test correct. What are you laughing at? What did I do? What?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I mean,
You know, I learned at an early age that once you learn to laugh at yourself, you're guaranteed a lifetime of entertainment.
You have entertainment in your life?
Yeah! I'm a goofy guy. I'm always entertaining myself.
No, that's true.
With your
Oh, in high
boxes
school?
in your
By the
flip phone.
punch bowl alone on prom night because the girl ditched you.
I always see that in the movies. That for real happened.
No offense.
Offense not taken.
What did she teach you for?
No offense.
Okay.
Question.
Probably a guy named
I have a
George
question.
on the back.
He has a.
Yes.
Did you have a high school bully?
A bully?
No. Kyle was like bullied you. Or,
Were
like,
you a high school bully?
Yeah, were you bullied?
Listen,
No,
show myself.
no
Did
friends.
you
had guys
think-
that just time
alone
alone
on Friday
What?
night.
You the guy in high school that just was weird and did weird stuff? No, he
Yes,
he was.
Like you, I feel like you're part of like one of those guys that yell the hallways and just say help.
Was your parents? Was your parents?
I don't remember doing that.
Would
no.
your parents like sit you down?
Can we get back to fractions, please? Okay.
Would your parents like sit
So,
you down and be like?
1 3/4 minus 5/8. That mixed number there, folks. That mixed number there. What do we got to do with that first?
I know. I know.
Nora.
What?
You multiply 1 by 4 and add 3.
Right. So we have to convert it to an improper fraction first. So 1 times 4, adding 3, that gives us 7/4 minus 5/8. And here is where now you would launch into the common denominators, right? We double the 4, we double the 7, and that gives us 14/8 minus 5/8. We do our subtraction. It's not 9 over 0, right? You can't even have 0 as the denominator of a fraction, okay? When you add or subtract, the denominators must be the same, and they stay the same. You have 14 tacos, you eat 5 tacos, you've got 9 tacos left, right? It's still an 8. And here's the thing, maybe in the past you then had to convert this back to a mixed number. Now you don't. Once you hit pre-algebra and algebra, mixed numbers kind of just go away, okay? You still need to know how to work with them, obviously, because they're on here, but you don't have to have your answer back in mixed number form. This is in simplest form. That's all you need here. Okay, 8.
You don't take geometry in 8th grade. Will you have to take it in high school?
Yes. Yep.
Don't you have to like pass the test for it?
Algebra?
No.
You don't call.
No. Well,
That's an exam.
yes and no. We can talk about that. And we only got a couple minutes left. Okay. So this is due on Monday. Hold on. This entire PO7 is due on Monday. Khan Academy is due tonight. Okay. Tomorrow is a retake day. The practice work from Unit 1 is already in your binder. So you've had all week to work on that practice work and take the retakes for it tomorrow. Hold on, don't leave yet. I'm not done. Enzo, sit down. Okay. Just wait. On this assignment, work must be shown. Okay? Work must be shown so I can see what you are doing. We did record, yes. We are recording. Yeah. And I know how to edit these things, so thank you for that. That's how you math, folks.
Okay. Don't forget to like and